From being accused of harassing his ex-girlfriend to not being able to play at this year's PGA Tour, Tiger Woods is in the spotlight again, and it's not for the right reasons. You see, the famed golfer has been accused of harassment by Erica Herman. Yikes, right? Okay, so Erica used to be an employee at Tiger's restaurant, and she alleges that the two had an ongoing relationship for over half a decade at the time of the alleged assault. Oh, and right after the alleged incident occurred, Woods gave her two options: either sign an NDA or lose your job. Come on, Tiger, people used to look up to you. Well, the golfer's lawyers claim otherwise, and they have evidence apparently to prove Erica's making it all up. But Benjamin Hobus, Erica's lawyer, claims that a boss imposing different work conditions on his employee because of their sexual relationship is harassment. The whole mess goes deeper than this, though. You see, Erica wants over $30 million in damages from Woods because the two had an agreement that she could live at his place for 5 years, but Tiger locked her out of the home, violating the agreement. But unless she has a recording of that conversation, there's a strong chance a judge would dismiss her claim. His lawyers would argue that if this was a legitimate agreement, they'd have it in writing. Tiger, who's known to loathe the cameras and press, wants this to be resolved confidentially, instead of it being dragged into court, which makes sense, doesn't it? Because the guy's been hounded by the media before for his past controversies. Plus, rumor has it that he's about to retire. The guy has to deal with an imminent retirement, career-ending injuries, and now a harassment claim. It's not a good time for him. Things could get really messy. He could end up losing his sponsorships regardless of the result if the news spreads. Because look, it doesn't matter whose side you're on. The truth is, Tiger is not going to come out looking good from this. The claim is that a powerful man, Tiger, pursued a sexual relationship with an employee and then threatened to fire her from her job if she didn't sign an NDA. When the relationship ended, he tricked her into leaving their home, locked her out, and took her cash, pets, and other possessions. After all of that, he tried to strong-arm her into signing a whole different NDA. Of course, Tiger would have a different version of what happened, but the fact of the matter is that he's being accused of some horrible stuff. So if this does go public, it could tarnish his already tarnished image. I mean, the guy tricked her into leaving their home. So he convinced her to pack for a weekend trip to the Bahamas. Erica and Woods would often travel for quick getaways on short notice, and she naturally assumed it was one of those trips. Then, she was driven to the airport. Tiger's lawyer showed up out of the blue and told her that she wasn't going anywhere, nor was she ever going to see Tiger again. Now, that's actually kind of insane. She was told that she couldn't go back to their house, not even to get her pets back. It's hard to think the good guy of the golfing world would do something like this. But I mean, is it really that hard to imagine him pulling a stunt like this? Because the guy used to cheat on his wife, a lot. Many women came forward claiming that they had affairs with the guy while the pro golfer was married to model Eileen Nordegren. Before the whole cheating scandal came to light, Tiger had done a great job of showing the world that he was a wholesome, devoted family man. The scandal quite literally ruined him, considering that many folks who once saw him as a role model immediately started disliking him. On top of everything, it's also impacted his career. The guy ended up losing out on several endorsement deals, that is, losing millions of dollars. But here's the thing, it seems that this entire thing with his ex, Erica, is going away. A Florida judge seems a tad bit suspicious of Erica's claims. During the hearing, Elizabeth Metzger, the judge, constantly questioned why the mandatory arbitration clause that the couple agreed on wouldn't end up invalidating the entire lawsuit that she's filed against the guy. Now, here's the problem for Erica. Even her attorney ended up acknowledging the fact that Herman signed an NDA at some point. But as with all court-related stories, this one had a twist too. You see, Erica's lawyer has claimed that the contract that she signed and the contract that was presented by Tiger's attorneys aren't the same. Because apparently, while the document seems to be signed by Erica, her attorney claims that she's not certain it's her sign, and neither is she sure that she ever signed it. Yikes! This is starting to get a tad messy. And if you think all of that's shocking, wait till you hear this. The sexual harassment allegation was barely mentioned. The reason for that is that Erica's lawyer feels that if he does show that information publicly, he'll end up violating the NDA if it's upheld in the end. With everything, and I mean everything, in shambles right now, you can't help but wonder, does history always repeat itself? Because even now, his professional life is in shambles too. Tiger and his longtime caddy, LaCava, have parted ways after 12 long years together. Woods has been with the guy since 2011, and the pair seemingly shared a pretty great relationship. Keep that in mind, because here's where things start getting messy. LaCava left because he wanted to be more active with another golfer. In other words, he clearly knows that Tiger's career is kinda done for. Okay, so everything's pretty speculative for now, but it's been a long time coming actually. Woods' withdrawal from the Masters set everything in motion. The tournament announced that its star player wouldn't be playing anymore 90 minutes before opening. You see, he's still suffering from the effects of the car accident in 2021. He could be seen limping through practice rounds, and honestly, that was fine, because he still managed to play well. But then, as the weather got worse, so did his limp. After he withdrew, Tiger tweeted, "I'm disappointed to have to withdraw this morning due to re-aggravating my plantar fasciitis." He continued, "Thank you to the fans and to @themasters who have shown me so much love and support. Good luck to the players today." Now this tweet kinda sent the entire golf world into a frenzy, because the entire love and support bit started making people think Tiger's going to retire after this, which would be sad, wouldn't it? Because look, yes, the guy was limping, but even then, he did manage to make the cut to round 3. But eventually, the weather caught up to him. The temperatures wouldn't even reach 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius, and the entire ground was waterlogged. So this led him to starting the 10th hole with a bogey, and then he had back-to-back double bogeys on 15 and 16. Well, that doesn't sound like that big a deal, does it? Yes it does, because this was the first time ever that he had consecutive double bogeys at the Masters. And here's the thing, it wasn't just this year's Masters that he couldn't play. He withdrew from the 2022 PGA Championship too. This begs the question, should he still be playing golf? Which is kinda sad really. I mean, think about it. Tiger's done so much for the sport and the PGA Tour. He's been more instrumental to golf than Schumacher has been to Formula One.
Yes! Michael Schumacher takes the lead in the Grand Prix of Europe, and the Benetton team go berserk with delight.
More instrumental than Messi has been to soccer, but he's pushing 50. On top of that, he's achieved nearly everything that any player could in the sport, and that's where the problem lies. The guy wants to go out as someone absolutely remarkable, someone whose records aren't going to be beaten for the next several decades. And at this point, you can't really blame him, can you? He's an athlete, but maybe, just maybe, it really is time for him to retire, because there's a chance he might not get to play at this year's PGA Championship. You see, Woods is extremely important to the PGA Tour. He's been instrumental in its fight against LIV Golf. At times, he even acts like an ambassador to the tour, so it'll suck that he might not even be able to play. Look, if he can't play any of the major tournaments, isn't it time for him to call it quits? He stated that his mobility is nowhere near where he would like it to be. He also literally said that there's some hardware in his leg, which is true. So it's been tough, and it's going to be tough. Going forward, his leg and his fitness will never ever be the same. Neither can he prepare for or play in as many tournaments as he'd like. And as talked about earlier in the video, his caddy leaving him is a sign that the end of his career is near. And more than anything that's going on in his personal life, this is what's keeping him in the news, which is not a good sign. So, from not even being able to play this year's PGA Tour to being accused of harassing his ex-girlfriend, Tiger Woods is in the spotlight again, and it's for all the wrong reasons.